So today we're starting our series, Parenting a Child with a Disability. We thought a great place to start would be with our mom. So we're going to have that interview today. It might go well, it might not. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Twins with Wheels. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Kristen.
And we're here today. We are starting a new series. We're going to be doing a few interviews with some people, parents who have children who have a disability. We thought, well, best person to start with would be our parent. So we have my mom, Pat Connors, is here. And she's going to answer some questions. It's going to be kind of weird.
She's my mom, too.
Oh, yeah, both of us. So we're going to be asking some questions. It's going to be kind of weird, but we'll see. So I know the answers to these. That's why it feels kind of weird. But so, Mom.
Hi.
Can you give us kind of just a background on yourself and Dad and kind of our family and your story?
Okay. In November of 1970, Jerry and I were married, and I became pregnant in April of the following year. I had an excellent gynecologist, and he suspected almost immediately, like in about my 4th month, that I might be having twins. But because they didn't have ultrasound in those days, I had to wait until my 6th month when I had an X-ray.
X-ray.
Yeah.
We're old.
And they were so excited when they came to tell us that, yes, in fact, we were having twins. Not sure if they were able to determine the sex. If they did, they didn't tell us. So we didn't know if we were having girls or boys or one of each. Again, my gynecologist decided that I should take progesterone so that I could carry the babies to term. Well, we went beyond term. We were a week overdue. The girls were due.
Now, nowadays, they would never let a mother carry
twins
that long. Well, so they were due January 6th of 1972, and they were born January 14th of 1972.
We just told everyone our age.
Yep. She did. We didn't.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Again, so excited, and then they told us they were identical twins, and they pretty much developed normally
We
as
were
we
big
went
twins,
along.
too.
Yes. Kelly was 6'14", and Kristen was 7'5".
I was smaller.
I was taller.
And so, as I said, they started to develop normally. They sat up, they crawled, they did all these things at the right stages. But it was funny because my mom and my mother-in-law noticed a couple of different things that, because my not having any other children, I wouldn't have noticed. But my mom noticed they had a tremor in their hands. And my mother-in-law noticed when we stood behind them and held their hands so they could walk, they waddled. So I guess that was a little abnormality.
That's funny. They both noticed that.
Yes.
Like two different things.
Two different things, exactly.
Yeah.
And by the time they were 12 months old, they could neither stand independently by themselves, get up and stand, nor were they taking any steps independently. And when I mentioned this to the doctors, they were making me feel like, oh, well, they're twins. Twins are slower to develop. Okay. Well, by the time they were 15 months old, still not walking independently, not standing independently. So they sent us to the Child Development Center at Rhode Island Hospital, and we had a great neurologist there who decided to admit them to the hospital for testing. So they were there 2 or 3 days and had several tests. And they came and spoke with us and told us that they had spinal muscular atrophy. Jerry and I were shocked. We had no idea what this was. My first thought before they went into the hospital was, oh, you know, it was probably some hip problem, something that could be fixed easily. But it wasn't. And like I said, we were shocked because we hadn't heard of this. And so we there started our education about spinal muscular atrophy. And they sent us to genetic counseling, and that's where we learned that it was a recessive trait, and both father and mother carried the trait in order for the child to be affected.
Wasn't it a little late by then? To go to genetic counseling?
Well, no, because we didn't know anything about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was kind of telling them more.
Yeah. So, and they also told us there would be a 25% chance with each pregnancy that I could have another child with spinal muscular atrophy. Again, you know, we were shocked. Now, Jerry, as I said, I was an only child. Jerry was one of 5 boys. I had lots of cousins, all married, all had children. Jerry at the time had 2 brothers married with children, who were married with children. Nobody on either side of the family, there was never any sign of any problem with a neuromuscular disease.
And so what were your first, like, when they told you that, what was your first, like, thoughts and concerns, like, you know, as this is going through your head? Once you got the first shock of it over, okay, now...
Yeah, and we did ask them what was going to happen. Would you be able to walk at all? What would your life expectancy be? And because we had learned that most children with spinal muscular atrophy die of pneumonia and probably make it to their 20s. Some don't even make it till then, depending on which form they have. So one night we were quite sad about this, trying to wrap our heads around it. And we had just, like, together had made this decision, okay, we have this. We're just going to try to give them the best quality of life that we can and make sure that we just concentrate on things that they are able to do and not things that they're unable to do. I mean, there's, you know, we gradually learned more and more as we went along.
So, looking back, was there anything that turned out better or worse than you expected?
Certainly a lot better things than I expected. I certainly didn't expect you to live beyond 20, 21, 22 because I didn't know. And also the things that you were able to accomplish, like driving, you finished school, working. I certainly didn't expect to have any grandchildren, and so I feel so blessed. And so with all of the difficulties that we may have gone through, I feel very blessed with the way things turned out. Now, as far as worse, I can't say that there was anything worse than I expected. I think I was fully prepared with all the education I'd received along the way to know what was going to come our way.
So what do you think that you wish you knew back then?
You know, I tried to think about that. And there's so many times I say, oh, if I knew then what I know now. But I can't say that specifically in this case because we learned what we could. We made the best decisions at the time that we could. And I kind of feel things worked out pretty well.
I think so too. Yeah. I'm great.
What kind of support did you receive that you think was probably the most beneficial to you?
Oh, there was quite a bit of support. First of all, when you were younger, my mom and dad both worked, so they weren't available to help me out and take care of you when I couldn't. So I had dad's mom and dad, Grammy and Grampy. They were fantastic, and they helped us out so much. And then I have to go to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. They played a big part in our lives.
And ours too. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we just grew up knowing and being a part of.
Yeah, like you had to wear leg braces. Now, yes, we had good health insurance, so health insurance paid their portion. But Muscular Dystrophy Association picked up the portion that health.
Just so everyone knows too, this is what the muscular dystrophy paid for back when we were growing up. I don't know what they pay for now, so just so you're aware of that, but you should definitely check.
Get in
With
touch with your
organization.
local organization. I'm sure almost every state has an office. So.
Or regardless of what you have. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
there's an organization for everything. So always check.
And Gracie has joined us
Oh, yes, of course.
as usual. Okay, so go ahead.
Also, I have to give credit to the school systems that we were involved, because whatever services we needed, they provided to us. Mostly it was busing. A handicap bus would come to pick you up and take you back home again. And especially too when you went on field trips, they would provide a bus for you to use, which was fantastic. And I never had to fight for any of the services, so we were very thankful for that.
I was lucky.
Yes.
Because I think, and it was getting, when we were younger, it was getting better.
Yes.
But it still wasn't in, a great place, I think, where it is now.
No.
Right.
Right.
But you knew people who were adults with the disability who did have issues with
The schools.
the schools and
Right.
fighting for things that, were every child should be given, like an education.
Right.
So they've gotten better throughout the years.
Yeah. And
We still have a ways to go though.
Yes.
yes. And when you got to the middle school that you attended, the high school at that time was not accessible, but they knew you were going to be coming in 2 years, and so they immediately started and built an elevator so that when you got there, you could attend all of the classes, whether they be on the first floor or second floor. So like I said, we never even had to ask for that. It was just automatically done. So we were very, very lucky.
So and with the schools too, I want you to talk about how you met with, especially when we were younger. Each year you would meet with our teachers.
Right. We started out and we would have a meeting with the teachers before the year began, and we explained to them that we did not want you to be given any special treatment, that they were to treat you like everyone else. If you hadn't done your homework, you should have to do your homework. And
Luckily, we were just little angels.
And we did specify though that the only thing we did expect them to do was to help you with things that you weren't able to do physically. And the elementary school you went to thought of a great plan. They would have the students push your wheelchairs. And of course you also were still walking at that time.
Right.
So you would only use the wheelchair going from your classroom to cafeteria and back, or out in the schoolyard for recess. But when you were in the classroom, you walked with a walker or your crutches. But and they provided 6th grade students to assist you when you got to school, help you with your coats and
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah.
I just remember everyone in our classes loved pushing us. So
Yeah.
we
Yes. They had to
Take turns.
The students had to take turns. Yep.
Okay, so what do you think is the best advice that you have for a parent who is just
Found
recently found out that they have a child who has a disability?
Okay. Learn what you can, and especially if they happen to have to use a wheelchair, don't give any sympathy. Use tough love.
Trust me, we got news.
The only way the children are going to become independent is if you force them to do things on their own, and only assist when you absolutely have to.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mama.
You're welcome.
You did a good job.
I hope I answered all the questions.
We hope you enjoyed the first episode of our series. If you have any questions for us or our mom, just put them down below and we'll answer them for you.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Right? You want to say
Bye.
Bye.